Have you ever felt exhausted and tired after a long day, but when you lay down on the bed, your eyes are still wide open and your mind is still racing? Sleep, something that seems simple, becomes a battle every night. And if you are an older person, it can happen more often than you think. It's not that you are lazy to sleep. It's not that you don't need rest. It's simply that your body has changed over time, and sleep no longer comes as easily as before. Every sleepless night is a long night, not only because the clock keeps ticking indifferently, but because in that silence there is a loneliness, a nameless worry about health, about whether you will have enough strength to wake up tomorrow more refreshed. Some people have turned to sleeping pills. Some just accept it, and some silently wait for a miracle. But what few people expect is that sometimes the solution is not in the medicine cabinet, but right on the dining table, in the kitchen that you visit every day. In today's video, we will explore 7 foods. Simple, familiar, but with natural power to improve sleep in a profound way. Not a miracle drug, not a strict diet, just familiar, easy to find dishes, but can do what you have longed for, a peaceful, deep, uninterrupted sleep. And I believe after watching, you will no longer look at those dishes the same way, because they not only nourish the body, they can nourish your sleep. You've probably eaten kiwis, the small green fruit with a distinctive sweet and sour taste. But did you know that kiwis are more than just a delicious dessert? They're also one of the most scientifically proven foods to improve sleep, especially for older adults. Kiwis are one of the few natural sources of both serotonin and melatonin, 2 key compounds that regulate the body's sleep-wake cycle. Serotonin helps calm the mind and improve mood, while melatonin is a biological signal that tells the body it's time to rest. This combination makes kiwis a natural bridge between alertness and deep sleep, which is especially important for older adults whose melatonin levels often decline with age. Research has shown that eating 2 kiwis about an hour before bed can help improve the time it takes to fall asleep, the length of sleep, and even the overall quality of sleep. It's not a myth, it's the empirical results of people like you. People who used to have trouble sleeping and now sleep better, just by adding a little fruit to their evening routine. What makes kiwi truly special is not just its chemical composition, it's the way it feels. Light, refreshing, as if it's whispering to you, "You're tired enough, give yourself permission to rest." It's a simple yet powerful thing, and that's exactly what sleep seekers deserve. There are nights when you lie awake, wondering why your body is exhausted, but your mind is wide awake. At those times, a glass of tart cherry juice might be all you need. Not your regular juice, but a gentle dose of natural melatonin, extracted from the tiny but mighty cherries. Tart cherries, also known as sour cherries, are one of the few fruits that naturally contain such high levels of melatonin that they can directly affect the quality of your sleep. Melatonin, the hormone that regulates your day and night cycles, when taken naturally, will not only help you fall asleep easier, but also help you maintain a deep, less interrupted sleep throughout the night. This is especially important for older adults, where waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to go back to sleep becomes a frighteningly familiar occurrence. A clinical study found that people who drank tart cherry juice regularly for 2 weeks slept an extra 84 minutes each night. No sleeping pills, no side effects, just nature's way of regulating your circadian rhythm in a sweet and comforting drink. And here's the thing, drinking a glass of cherry juice before bed is like a gentle ritual. It makes you slow down, relax, feel like you're being cared for. It's not just the food, it's the feeling that your body is being supported, that it doesn't have to fight insomnia alone. That's what tart cherries bring, not just melatonin, but a sweet, gentle, and fulfilling dream. Perhaps no fruit is as familiar as bananas. You may have eaten it hundreds of times, as a snack, part of breakfast, or simply as a light snack. But behind that yellow skin is a miraculous natural mechanism, a bridge between a stressed body and the deep sleep you crave. Bananas are rich in magnesium, an essential mineral that helps relax muscles, calm the nervous system, and support the body in a state of rest. For the elderly, dull pain, muscle tension, or restless legs at night can make sleep intermittent and interrupted. Magnesium from bananas helps soothe those symptoms, like a gentle caress for a tired body. Not stopping there, bananas also contain tryptophan, an amino acid that helps the body produce serotonin, a neurotransmitter that creates a feeling of peace and happiness. Serotonin will then be converted into melatonin, a hormone that causes sleepiness. In other words, eating a banana before bed not only helps you relax physically, but also regulates your emotions, creating the ideal conditions for falling asleep. Imagine before going to bed, you eat a ripe banana, feeling the sweet taste gradually spread in your mouth. It's not just a dish, it's a signal to your body. It's time to let go. It's time to sleep to recharge. It's time to give yourself a truly complete sleep. And sometimes the most magical things come from the simplest things, like a banana. There are nights when you don't lose sleep because of anxiety, nor because of obvious pain, but simply because you can't turn off the feeling of being lost, vague, and unstable in your own biological rhythm. That's when walnuts become a silent but extremely effective companion, especially for the elderly. Walnuts are not only a nutritious snack, but also one of the few foods that possess a unique combination of natural melatonin and omega-3 fatty acids. Melatonin, as we know, is the internal biological clock, helping you fall asleep and stay asleep. But what few people pay attention to is that for melatonin to work effectively, the brain needs a healthy foundation, a stable neurological environment. That's the role of omega-3. Omega-3 in walnuts supports neurotransmission, reduces inflammation, and enhances the ability to produce endogenous melatonin. In other words, walnuts not only bring melatonin in from the outside, but also help the body produce it better. This is an extremely important advantage for older people, whose internal melatonin production has declined over the years. You don't need to eat a lot. A small handful, about 6 to 8 nuts in the evening, before bed is enough to make a difference. You can mix them into yogurt, sprinkle them on oatmeal, or simply eat them on their own as a self-care ritual. And the best part is not the rich taste of each nut, but the peace of mind that comes from knowing that you are doing something gentle, natural, and sustainable for your sleep. No need to be noisy, just as quiet as the walnuts themselves, but profound and effective. There are days when you are tired not only because your body, but also because your mind has been burdened with too much. Nameless thoughts, small but quiet worries accumulate, and then at night, you lie down, but your mind still refuses to stop. At that time, a cup of chamomile tea is not just a drink, it is an invitation to return to peace. Chamomile tea has long been known as a natural remedy to calm the nerves, reduce anxiety, and support sleep. The magic lies in apigenin, a flavonoid compound that can bind to GABA receptors in the brain, thereby creating a mild sedative effect, making you feel relaxed, comfortable, and ready to enter a state of deep rest. But chamomile tea is effective not only because of its chemical composition, it is also because of the way it forces you to slow down. When you boil water, drop the dried petals into a cup, watch the steam rise, and inhale the gentle scent. You are performing a mindfulness ritual, a process of shifting from the fast pace of life to a calm, ready state for sleep. For older people, sleep requires not only physical help, but also a calm, undisturbed mind. A cup of chamomile tea before bed is the simplest way to remind yourself, stop, let go, and allow yourself to rest. In a noisy world, chamomile tea is the art of stillness, the slow breathing of an experienced soul, finding peace. There are nights when you can't explain why you're awake. Nothing too serious has happened, no obvious pain, no specific anxiety. But there's still a vague feeling of unease creeping into your chest. Your body isn't ready to relax, even though you're so tired. In those moments, a handful of almonds, seemingly small and simple, can have a greater effect than you think. Almonds contain a significant amount of magnesium, a mineral that can calm the nervous system, relax muscles, and stabilize the heart rate. For older people, minor neurological disorders, such as muscle tension, mild anxiety, or unnamed internal instabilities, are often the cause of shortened or intermittent sleep. Magnesium helps neutralize those fluctuations naturally and gently. In addition, almonds also provide melatonin, a biological signal transmitter that helps regulate the biological rhythm of sleep and wakefulness. When you eat a handful of almonds before bed, you're not only getting a nutritional boost, you're also sending a biological message to your body. It's time to rest. The great thing about almonds is that they don't require much change, no elaborate cooking, no big changes to your diet, just a small handful, about 6 to 10 nuts, as a small gift to yourself at the end of the day. And if you sit down and nibble on a few almonds in a quiet space, you'll realize sometimes what helps you sleep well isn't something drastic, but a gentle, steady, repetitive action like the gentle embrace of sleep that's been waiting for you all along. When the night falls and the air becomes quiet, what your body needs sometimes is not just a soft bed, but a warm feeling that radiates from within. Something that makes you feel nourished, cared for. And of all the foods that can bring that feeling, oatmeal is always at the top. Oats are a natural source of both melatonin and magnesium, two key factors that help regulate sleep. Melatonin helps the body recognize that it is time to rest, while magnesium acts as a key to unlocking the door to relaxation, calming the nervous system and helping the mind stop drifting. For older adults, this combination is like an invisible blanket, embracing the entire body and mind that need to rest. Not only that, oatmeal also contains slow-absorbing carbohydrates, an important factor that is often overlooked when it comes to sleep. When blood sugar is stable throughout the night, the body is not woken up by hunger or mid-sugar drops. A warm bowl of oatmeal in the evening can help you sleep more deeply, more gently, and more balanced. And more than nutrition, eating oatmeal before bed is a ritual. A spoonful of warm oatmeal is a message. You are taking care of yourself in the simplest yet most profound way. It is a dish that not only soothes the stomach, but also soothes the heart, making each evening a journey back to peace, where you are allowed to relax, sleep, and live more gently. Sleep is more than just a time for the body to rest. It's a time for the body to recover, for the mind to regenerate, and for each of us to enter the next day with a more complete spirit. When you lose sleep, you lose more than just a few hours. You also lose your clarity, emotions, and overall health. But the good news is, you can get it back. It doesn't have to be complicated therapies or expensive medications. Sometimes, all it takes is a few small changes to your diet, a little listening to your body, and a little trust in the wisdom of nature. Today, you've learned about 7 simple yet powerful foods that can help you sleep deeper, longer, and more easily. Start with the easy one. Pick one of them and add it to your evening routine. Don't let sleep be a luxury. Make it a loving part of your self-care journey. If you found today's post helpful, leave a comment below. What's the first food you'll try? And don't forget to share this video with anyone who needs a good night's sleep like you, because we all deserve a good night's rest.